colleagues, mes collègues. Today holds a great deal of importance for me, and I don't take this opportunity lightly. This is a sentinel point in my career, and I am honored to stand before you today as President of the Canadian Nurses Association.
I am honored to be in front of you here today as President of the Canadian Nurses Association.
And I also think that I'm probably the first CNA president who gets to be the opening act for Jan Arden. Thank you is my first order of business, because my parents taught me that gratitude is the foundation of a values-driven life. I want to say thank you to my parents and family who gave me a solid grounding in always doing the right thing and a sense of obligation to contribute to society, supporting and encouraging me, cheerleading, but not letting me get too big for my britches. I would also like to thank Karna and my campaign team. 2 years ago, supporting me as a candidate for president-elect and putting their trust in me as someone who could make a difference in this arena. I also would like to thank my employer, Alberta Health Services, for being tolerant of me doing my work remotely, but especially to the team of wonderful directors and managers in the rural health portfolio in the Calgary zone who cover for me, support me, and give me space within my work to be able to contribute to the work at CNA. I want to thank Karima again for being a role model and an inspiration, for demonstrating grace under pressure, principle-based decision-making, and being committed to making a difference, a one-of-a-kind president, sister, and friend. Thank you to Anne and the CNA staff. The leadership and hard work that is generated at 50 Driveway in Ottawa is outstanding. And every nurse in Canada should be proud of what's accomplished on their behalf. Anne is relentless in her pursuit of advocacy for nursing practice and support for the health of Canadians in a publicly funded healthcare system. It will be an honor for me to have the opportunity to continue to work with her and the CNA staff. I want to say thank you to my nursing family, the colleagues, mentors, friends, teachers, students, and the critics that have crisscrossed my career path over the past 4 decades. You know who you are, and some of you are here with me today. And I will be counting on you to walk alongside me in this next adventure as president of CNA. I want to thank the patients, families, and communities that I've had the privilege to work with in the best of times, in the worst of times, at the beginning of life, and at the end of life, and all the places in between. You have shaped who I am as a registered nurse and contributed to my journey as a human being. The intersection of my professional path with their journey in health and illness has reinforced to me time and time again that nursing is not only the best profession in the world, but being a registered nurse, using that art and science is a way to make a meaningful difference for individuals, for families, for communities, and for the nations. I think I'm going to ask the Canmore Chamber of Commerce if I can get some kind of cut on the tourist upswing they're going to get from all this Three Sisters talk. But last but not least, a thank you list would not be complete if my husband and best friend was not included on the list. I am pleased that Rich is able to be with me here today, and none of my professional association activities would be possible without his support and cheerleading. He's the first one in our household to read the Canadian Nurse Journal, and he's always skimming the pages to see if any of his friends are in the current edition. And it's very telling when we travel to a conference and many nurses there are greeting him by his first name. But he's also a very solid barometer of the public opinion of someone looking from the outside in. He's a very wise man. He keeps me grounded in his realistic view of the world, and he's my partner in whatever I hope to accomplish. This is my opportunity to set the stage for my term as CNA president, and this is also the time that people are expecting me to say something very profound and inspirational. Well, no pressure at all. But my remarks will connect with something that is important to me and how that relates to how I hope to move the priorities forward. Music is an important part of my life, something that has always been there for as long as I can remember, something that makes me a balanced and hopefully interesting person. Music is a universal language, and most of us can tell the difference between music and noise, although that could be subject to interpretation between the generations. But I've been a member of the Bow Valley Chorus for 16 years. And being a choral singer has taught me many things about discipline and teamwork and divas. When I was thinking about what I wanted to say today, I wanted to connect principles, concepts, and assumptions and impressions with music to my approach to the work ahead as CNA president. And you may not know this, but I'm in good company, because there is a connection between Florence Nightingale and music. And in nursing, music started being used as a therapeutic intervention in the days of Florence Nightingale, who has been referenced as the pioneer of music therapy. Documentation of Nightingale's use of music appears in the Florence Nightingale Museum in London and in her book, Notes on Nursing. Nightingale and her nurses used music therapy and musical instruments during the Crimean War to assist with the physical, social, spiritual, and emotional healing of sick and wounded soldiers. Nightingale thought of music as an auditory modality that nurses could use to control the environment. The concepts I want to connect between music and my hopes and objectives as CNA president are the 3 R's. And it's not reduce, reuse, recycle, or reading, writing, and arithmetic. But it's resonance, reverberation, and relevance. Resonance. Resonance is a quality that makes something personally meaningful or important. Une qualité qui provoque une réponse.
It's a quality that means something important.
CNA. Between registered nurses, between groups of nurses across the domains of practice nationally and internationally. Connect with citizens, with government. CNA connecting with registered nurses from coast to coast to coast in a meaningful way. Being able to see yourself in CNA just as you can see yourself in these pictures of our great nation. Becoming part of the faces of CNA because it has meaning for you, because there is resonance for you as a registered nurse in Canada. CNA connecting not just with individual nurses, but with others for a common goal. Groups, jurisdictions, associations, colleges, locally, nationally, internationally. This is the space for CNA. This is the space to create resonance. CNA advocacy on issues that are important to Canadians, our global community, and the profession of nursing. This has been an area of emphasis and success under Dr. Karima Valji, and the CNA staff have made inroads with connections that have never happened previously. This is a space to maintain resonance. The value of CNA, the uniqueness of CNA, opportunities for interaction and engagement, the National Professional Association for Registered Nurses, membership in every province and territory, valued and respected. at tables of decision makers, being asked to contribute because of the meaningful perspective of registered nurses related to policy, advocacy, and health care for Canadians, and the connections with nurses globally through ICN. This is a reason for resonance. The reality is that as Canadians, we all know that we live in that dynamic tension of a federation. And that federation has chosen to name itself as a nation, where in many other geographical configurations in the world, each province and territory would be a separate country. We have a decision-making style that includes a handshake of consensus, if possible, and tolerance at the end of the day. We are a mosaic, not a melting pot. This is the fabric of our Canadian quilt. This federation notion is the reality of our nursing profession as well, and this diversity should be treated like oxygen. We do not all think the same. We do not all practice nursing the same. But our point of connection is our reason for being, the difference that we can make for people, families, communities, and our country. This is the result of resonance and the fabric of our Canadian nursing quilt. Margaret Wheatley has said that a task of leadership is to create a future worth wanting, and a future that gives hope and possibility to us all. To me, that's part of the work of CNA, to create that future that is worth wanting. To create that future that is worth wanting. To create that connection across the country and to resonate. Reverberation. Reverberation is the result of a deliberate strategy, a change in the character and quality, a difference from noise. Un changement et caractère.
It's a change in the character and quality.
This note is one that was left under the pillow of my 7-year-old great-nephew to the tooth fairy. He thought he'd soften her up a little bit at the beginning, but then he thought he'd change it up and said, could I change it up a little? I'd like a very big Lego set. Love, Austin. And then he drew a nice little picture on the bottom. Primary health care is a reverberation for now, a shake-up, a change-up, whose time has come. And in Sheila's words, we're going to rock this joint. The work to reverberate the concept of primary health care will involve generating enthusiasm, suggesting solutions, and taking the strategic plan for CNA based on primary health care and giving that concept legs. Making primary health care live and breathe in briefs, in meetings, in advocacy, and in solutions. The work will involve connections with government and groups of registered nurses in our nation to move strategies forward in the interest of Canadians. Seniors care, home care, community health centers, nurse-run clinics, support for Indigenous nurses, all under the rubric of primary health care. Primary health care gives us the opportunity to do things differently for nursing and for the people of Canada. The igniting of a contagious commitment to the determinants of health. A contagious commitment to the determinants of health. Excellence in facility-based care, enhancement of community care, support for aging in place, commitment to healthy families and children, a strong, healthy, vibrant population with a future worth wanting. I wish I would have said this, but I have to quote her because it was her words. So unapologetically, this is a stolen quote from Dr. Shannon Spenceley. Primary health care is where the full scope of nursing practice meets the full scope of the human health experience, leaving no one behind, looking at the whole health journey. Primary health care is where the full scope of nursing practice meets the full scope of the human health experience, leaving no one behind. Why is the Alma Ata vision of primary health care not taken off like a rocket ship? In many ways, we have made primary health care exclusive, thinking that it only occurs in the community settings rather than looking at the full scope of nursing practice and embracing that inclusive nature of primary health care across all settings and domains of practice. Primary health care isn't about places. It's not about buildings. It's not about location. It's a lens. It's our lens. It's about people and the determinants of health, the space where registered nurses have always been, from the time of Jean Monts to 2016. I always have my primary health care lens on, or you wouldn't believe me, but I put my primary health care lens on overdrive for 5 days on Nursing Week. And this is what I saw. The RN in the operating room who ensures that the safe surgery checklist is completed, injury prevention. The RN on a medical unit who completes medication reconciliation and leads the discharge process, and involving family and home care referrals, health promotion, community of care, intersectoral collaboration. The RN in public health who starts a healthy community coalition to address the increased rate of teenage suicide in her community. Health promotion, public participation, intersectoral collaboration. The RN who writes a briefing document for the CEO to implement a fast-track section of the ER staffed by nurse practitioners. Accessibility, appropriate use of resources. The RN on a long-term care unit who implements an interdisciplinary enhanced falls reduction program for elders living at risk. Health promotion, intersectoral collaboration. The RN working in a one-nurse nursing station in the Arctic, organizing a pajama party for young girls in the community to use the opportunity to talk about self-esteem and healthy life choices. Health promotion, accessibility. The nurse practitioner starting a teen health program in a community health center. Accessibility, health promotion. CNA board members meeting with MPs to lobby for better seniors care and healthy aging, using the results from a public opinion poll. Public participation, health promotion, intersectoral collaboration. This isn't all that I saw on 4 days. It's a snapshot. It's a small snapshot, just to make the point that primary health care is where the full scope of nursing practice meets the full scope of the human health experience. Primary health care is our opportunity to reverberate, to change the characteristic and quality of health care in our country. We can do it. We can change it up like Austin asked us to. We can reverberate. Nous avons des répercussions. Relevance.
La pertinence de connaître la pertinence de quelque chose. En général, la pertinence a un début et la fin, et ce qui était pertinent il y a 5 ans peut-être sera moins actuellement. La pertinence, c'est être délibéré et ciblé. Et de
voir l'importance. A symphony does not go on indefinitely. The composer makes choices for differences, emphasizing different colors and themes. A Justin Bieber song is not necessarily right for church, and musicians make specific choices about being unplugged versus being amplified to be relevant for the situation. If you're not in tune, you're not relevant. This was my Christmas gift from the staff at the Canmore Hospital last year. And they got it in a size that didn't fit me, but I don't care. I'm going to frame it because I love this T-shirt. Being relevant also means knowing what battles are left for others. And that's a sign of leadership and a sign of strategy. Knowing when to push, who to talk to, what door to open. Advocacy, not for personal attention, but for a deliberate result. Resisting being distracted by issues and noise that are not our space. Being a strong advocate for support within nursing, recognizing the value, importance, and contribution of registered nurses working in all domains and settings, working together, working to optimal scope for this time and this place. Being relevant is a given when our work is so important. To be relevant, the team must be strong and cohesive. The conductor needs other players to make music, and even Mick Jagger needs help once in a while. Everyone has a special contribution, and the team does not work well if respect is not there for all members of the team. And the conductor should not spend valuable time being a referee. The CNA board is a team, and this is what you can expect from us and what I will demand from them as a leader. We will confront reality head-on. We will seek feedback and listen. We will say what needs to be said. We will encourage pushback. We will take action on performance issues. We will communicate openly and frequently. We will lead change. We will make decisions and move forward. We will give credit to others, and we will hold people and ourselves accountable. Collaborative approach with teams of others to move professional nursing forward in Canada in the interest of Canadians is what will make the difference and how we will make the music. Collections of nurses working together respectfully is my dream. Rather than lobbing grenades at each other, scorching the earth and taking prisoners, because this is a very unwise use of energy. And if you don't think the public is watching, you're not informed. I envision a something. I don't know what it is, and I'm hoping that you will inform me as we take this journey together. Is it a council? Is it a committee? Is it I like this word, a Canadian Nursing Catalyst Summit? Something where people come where there might not be motions or an agenda, but a gathering, a meeting of the minds to say, you know what, you can say whatever you think, and I'm going to take that, and I'm going to respect that, and we're going to put that in the pot, and we're going to see what kind of stew we come up with at the end of the day. Regulators, nursing unions, professional associations, students, educators, researchers, having authentic, respectful discussions, recognizing and respecting overlapping scopes of mandate, and creating that future worth wanting. To be relevant is the foundation for change. Resonance, reverberation, relevance. The 3 R's for the next 730 days. I am proud to be a Canadian. I am proud to be a registered nurse. I'm honored to be your president, and I'm counting on each and every one of you to walk alongside me as we work together for a strong, sustainable healthcare system, a healthy Canada, and a united, cohesive, vibrant nursing profession, making a difference and leading the way for all the right reasons. Thank you. Merci.